It is very strange that I thought Schindler List, that movie, I I maybe watch it on television, and I never. I watch it only because it was known. The newspaper was writing about it, and people were talking about this movie. And today I get sometimes a DNA match, and it's hard when I have both parents in the family tree, and then I don't know who belongs to whom. And but then I took that in Israel, Ireland, the DNA on my both parents, because I didn't know what to do with how to do the DNA. But I knew that God have told me in Jerusalem in 2016 that I should do my DNA. So I have no clue about it, and I have no friends, and so I was looking for it on the internet, the DNA test, and I took. As I come from Israel, I don't have so much money, but I got money for to travel to Israel from one that support me, and and as it was like now when I was in Israel, I had money to travel there, but I didn't have any money back home so much. But as God have told me, or heaven told me in Jerusalem that I should do my DNA, I couldn't wait because I was used to do this, and you should do that also. If you hear from God, you should not go and waiting for to do those things. It's not about evil things, not kill anyone. But when God is telling you to do something, you need to do it very quick, because if you delay it, it will come people whispering in your ears and tell you to not to do it, and you change your mind, maybe. So it's very important that you do it very fast, what you hear. And I have always done that since I started to understand that it's fly away from you if you don't do it as soon as you can, because you can get thinking and that, and no, it's not good, I don't have any money, or like that. But you need to do it very fast and not wait for other people to come and tell you what you should do and not to do. You have to make the decision of your own. And so when I come back to Sweden in 2016, I knew that God or heaven wanted me to do my DNA. So I have not so much money, but I I have my retirement, so I knew money should come in 18 day, in the 80 day. and every month I get it. So it was maybe 1.5, 2 weeks before I get my retirement. So I had food at home that I don't really like, but I eat it up and not bought any new food for me. I have to wait out it because I needed to pay money for to do the DNA. So it come DNA, so I spit in that cup that was with it and send it to Ireland back again. And that was ancestor.com that I make this DNA. And when I get it back in, it was about, it was in fall, I think. I don't remember when it was, but when when the DNA come back, I get lots of matches from the DNA I did, and I still remember those names because it was good. Because one morning I erased the whole family tree I did from the beginning, and it was many thousand I destroyed because I was sleepy, and then I have to start over again. And I remember those names because of these names was known, sure names. So like I placed them together with someone that is famous. So I had, for example, Richard in the surname, and I say Cliff Richard, maybe I am related to. Or Man, surname Man come. And I was thinking, maybe it's not, I think it's a person that name is Manfred Mann, but it's a group, Manfred Mann at least. And then I remember that name because I placed them into famous people. So I remember them. And I got very much result, and I didn't kept them because it was too much names. So I only search for sure names that was interesting for me to see where it was going in the tree. But then now I did, when I found out it was very much famous people like royals people, like Prince Charles, for example. He is king now, Charles, in England, like that. I had him in my DNA match. So, and then I wanted to search where it was going. Where am I connected to this person? Like that. And then it was so very interesting. So my mother was so very much Jewish, and in the first tree I find out that she was connected down to Jerusalem and Jesus and all those patriarchs, everyone down there in Israel. So I couldn't have this mix of my father and my mother's DNA. So I bought one more DNA search, and it was in the United States, and it was only on my mother's side. So it's not so long time ago I did that. Maybe 1 year I did the DNA only for in my mother's family tree, so I could separate my father and my mother. And my father, he had from Israel also the line, but it was not so powerful that my mother was, because my father had royals also, but it was going a little back on him, and because about this with drinking problems, that is one of the DNA. My mother have also drinking in her DNA, but my father had very much, and they be like kicked out from the churches when they were pastors like that, because they were drinking so much, and many other scandals in history. And my mother have also some, because they coming. I should not blame it because they come from Russia, but it's very common in the communist countries to drink very much. And we have it in Sweden also. I admit it. And you know, my father died of drinking so hard, so his heart broke. He died instantly on the floor when he was dancing because of all the drinkings. And what I wanted to talk about today, it was that I got one DNA match today on my mother's family tree, and I had it on this family tree that was a mix of father and mother's DNA, and I have seen it, but it was not so much of interest for me, so I look for it, but it also is Jewish, that they can have a Jewish name, and it sign up in Hebrew, and then they have a name that is for us other that can't read the Hebrew. They have that name also. They can have double names, one for in Hebrew and one in European letters, words. So today I got once again, and as it was only one DNA match, was it easier for me to look at it, and it was Schindler. And you know, I talk about this movie, Schindler's List, is it called in Swedish, and it was some of you know what is for a movie I'm talking about, Steven Spielberg's movie about the man that helped those youths in the camp, and about 1,400 he helped, because he had a factory close to the camp, Nazi camp, and he took those people that was in the camp to work for him, so they didn't be killed because they were working outside the camp. And his name is Oskar Schindler. That was in the movie, and it was he I got this morning in my email. It says that I had a DNA hit on my mother's tree, in my mother's tree, family tree. So I'd be surprised, because I was thinking that the movie Schindler's List was not about a real person. I thought it was a fiction. It was something faked. But it was a real man, and his story about how he could help 1,400 Jewish people. And so I'd be surprised when I saw that name. And now I know he was in my mother's lineage. And those Jewish that he was in Europe. He was in Ireland. He was born in Ireland. No, his parents was born in Ireland, I think. And he was here, close to Sweden, but not Swedish. And I know, I have many DNA matches on Ireland and England, Scotland, those places. And so it was not strange for me that he was in a family tree, but I didn't know that he was a real person. I don't know, maybe the movies say that it was a real person, but I don't remember today. It's so good to not remember those movies I have watched. Then it's new for me again to watch it. And but I have not done it. I watched it about in 94, 95. Watch it on television. Then I have forgotten that movie, what it was about. I knew it was about this Nazi camp and the Jewish people, but I don't remember what it was about, like in the movie, what's going on. But he was born in Czechoslovakia, but today it's Slovakia, and he died in Germany, because here I have been talking about this for some episodes ago, not so far away, that Jewish people was working for Hitler, and it can be that they like what Hitler did, and they were people that wanted to be bad to other people. That could be the negative of it. But then I have been in the military. I have been educated in the military, and it's sometimes people infiltrate bad things to understand what is going on. And Oskar Schindler, he may make friends in Nazis, so he could start this factory. And in the factory, he helped the Jewish to survive. And the factory was very close to the camp, so he had to be friends with the Nazi to could get the money from them. They helped him to get the money to start the factory, the Nazi. And he was in the Nazi party army because it was good things he did in the secret. And so that belongs to the war strategy, the military strategy, that sometimes this agent that is coming into other countries and pretend they are from the same country, and then they are from the enemy, but they send back to their real country information, what's going on. And so there have always been this kind of people. So he was one of that sort. And I think they didn't knew that he was Jewish because he was born in a Catholic church, and his grave is in Jerusalem. But he is the grave is in the Catholic church area in Jerusalem. So I could never have found his grave, and I didn't know about him when I was in Jerusalem. And it's very confusing, because it's the same with the I have told you before that the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church is walking hand in hand. And it is, if you are in a Catholic major country, you are born into that religion. And if you are like Slovakia, it is much Catholic. So he be automatic born into Catholic Church. He's a child, but he couldn't choose. He is going with his parents. And as the Jewish people have always been hunted, so sometimes they do this, say okay to a religion, a church, to hide. I thought it was only in the Second World War, in that time, that they have to hide. But now, when I doing my family tree, I read. There is some papers left behind, and I read that they have always been on the run, and that's why also that I have relatives all over the world, because they try to escape. And so this is Oskar Schindler, and he is very he was friends with, he is the relatives to Royal Wallenberg, the one that helped Jewish most of all people. He make Jewish people could run away. It was over 100,000 people he helped by laying on the train, on the roof of the train, and have fake passport papers that they belong to Sweden, and he give that to them, and he could have, the military, the Nazi military could have seen him on the roof and shoot and kill him, but he did it anyway. And I know today it was because he was Jewish and he had his own people. And the same was with Oskar Schindler. He was also a Jewish in my family tree. And then I find another man that I have seen being a match, and that was the surname Singer, and Abraham Isaac Singer. And that is, the sewing machine. It was one that was made here in Sweden, sew machine, Husqvarna. It says in English. In America they say always that. Husqvarna is it in Swedish. And then it was Singer sew machine. Those two was in Europe fighting with each other to get most buyer. And my father was he was drive around in his car and selling Husqvarna sew machine around out in the forest in those those back far from the city. He was driving around and selling for some years, and it was before I was born. He did that because for me was he always the insurance manager for the biggest insurance company in Sweden. He was a part of the managers until he was too drunk to could work in this. He be kicked out from the company, but he got a big apartment and a nice car and some stock marks. So it was not this ordinary that out from here and you only walk away. He got much money for those years he had working for them. And so I had forgotten, but I know I have seen Schindler about this, and I remember it was about the movie. I'd be very surprised. I think I think I look in the tree once, from my family tree. I looked there because it was someone else, and then I said, maybe this movie, about this movie, that Schindler is a Jewish man and he belonged to my family tree, and then he was there, Schindler. But something very strange I saw today about digging into Schindler, and of course it was maybe 2 or 3 generations before him, and then suddenly I couldn't find any names. It was because they were Jewish and they didn't have that kind of name. But then I saw a lead in from another tree, and it was because Schindler wasn't Schindler when they come to America, to United States. They change it, and that's what they are doing, those Jewish. And like I thought my relatives was Swedish, so I was thinking that they, in some way, they changed their names when coming to United States, that they wanted to have names that people could talk about in English, so they changed their names. Many of mine, I am born Nilsson, and in my family tree in the United States, it is Nelson instead of Nilsson. They change it, and people say it before to me. Oh, that Nelson is from England only. That when they come to United States, it's from England. But it isn't when I look in my family tree now, that many have the name Nelson. And when I look a little more in the past, they had the name Nilsson, but they changed it when they come to America. So many of these things, if people should know the truth about their family, they have to understand these things, that the names change. So I saw that today. I hope I have started to see it with other eyes, to understand it better, because I saw it. Schindler, when they live in America and still living in America, Schindler is the same as Chandler. I saw it today because it come later on. In the past, their names was Chandler, I was thinking about in the movie star Chandler. I think it's called Chandler. So it can be different spelling of the surnames, and also the first name they have. It is to hold it in the brain, to could learn to see it. It was very clearly for me that Schindler was also Chandler. And I was looking at Chandler today also. And it was an author in the United States that have the name Chandler, and very famous author, dead today. And he in Sweden here, he was published in a Jewish owned book releaser, and so I saw that they have connection with each other, and then I saw picture of this author, and he had friends that was in my family tree. So I found out in that way that I have a surname, Jewish surname. I didn't know it was Jewish, but I have seen that in the Jewish cemetery graveyards. That is Jewish, and it's the name. Surname is Stern, and he was friends with one that had that name Stern. And then I was thinking, I know I have Stern in my family tree, so I look for Stern in my mother's family tree, and I had maybe 50 Stern already placed into my mother's branches. So he belonged to my mother's tree and was Jewish, and then he that was friend with Chandler, Arthur Chandler, his grave is in Tel Aviv, in Israel. Is he? So they are do that is interesting of this with family trees, DNA, that they are connected to each other. They were like family glued together because they wanted to marry a Jewish partner. The Jewish should stand firm by marriage. So though most of the people in my family tree that is Jewish, they belong to each other, and that is maybe why I heard in Jerusalem 2016 that I heard from heaven that it was saying that we are all together, connected with each other in one way or another. And maybe they were talking about my ancestor Jewish, that they needed to marry each other because they were not allowed to marry other out from the Jewish tradition. So they got more branches in other names. So most everyone that is more successful Jewish, they belong to my family tree, and most my mother's family tree, because my father's and sisters was very much to do other things. They were in the church. They were leader for the church, but yeah, I know because my father, he was very much into dancing and singing, and he was together with those that was sitting and drinking and was in this about movies, artists, that people that want to be free in their life, live a free life, but with money, of course. And those other Jewish that it was coming from more east and coming out from Hitler's camp. Those people that most of them didn't have any money because they had to leave everything behind them, and the Nazi took over their, if they had a very nice home, and the Nazi took everything they had. So when they come to Sweden, those Jewish come from Hitler's camp, they that could survive. They were poor, and my family tree, it's not to brag, because it was their way to do their life, that they tried to escape in the way that they had the money to escape with, and married, like I have told you many times, that those that come from Germany, they go with the Swedish military, and they be famous of could do. They were many that was Messerschmitt, but not in factory. They were Messerschmitt for the castle, for the royal family and noble family. They were there, and then they were so good in their work, so they got the title of nobles. And then when they got the nobles title, because they were good in what they were doing, in like Messerschmitt with gold to do those things, then they marry a royal or a noble woman and got this. They didn't care about their Jewish tradition and Jewish way to live their life, because they wanted more to stay safe in Sweden, and then they also got much money, and they got the titles, so that those it's in my DNA that they are smart people, and I see me as very smart in many ways. I have much weakness in me, but I have also this. I can create money. Before I knew God, I created money. I had my own business in web design. I did websites. When I lived in Texas, I was doing websites for the biggest company in Chevrolet cars. I did websites for the American football. Those got much money. So I have been money-minded to do business, and that is in my DNA. My mother had two cafes, cafe places. Yeah. When she divorced my father's, she had the money that she could have spent on something else, but she bought two cafe places and make money of that. So the money to do business, it's coming from my mother. It's not coming from my father. My father was very good to sell things, but he couldn't keep the money, as he wanted to drink and be on very expensive restaurants and clubs. And my mother, she write up everything of money she spent, what she spent and what she come in, the money come in. She counted the money very much. She was very... some people be angry when I say they are so very much into money, but they are. The truth that Jewish people love money. And I have told you about my last travel to Israel, that it was about money, everything. It was nothing that was in 2011 when I come the first time. Then I didn't see this about money, but now 2022 I saw how much money there were into this Israel country. So I don't like to lie. So this is what I know. I knew it before, but I didn't say it. But I can't hold it in that it is about money when it comes to Jewish people. I say that against my own people, because I am Jewish and I belong to this with this that hold the money, and I don't hold the money now because I am in God and God is not money. So, but when I got money from you that helped me to Israel, I tried to hold in the money. I didn't spend the money as I could have done because it was like I have responsible for that you gave me money to help me do this, to touch the Golden Gate. You did that, and I didn't, and I felt responsible for that money. So I didn't waste the money, but in the way that the life was in Israel, and that I couldn't rent a scooter to drive around with, I needed to place very much money in taxi to go to places, because the hotel was not, it was in the center, but it was not close to any stores to go and buy food for in. And I couldn't go with a bus or the train inside Jerusalem as I am disabled. But I tried to hold back as much as I could so I didn't waste your money. So it's late now, I have been to the doctor this before lunchtime. I was to the doctor, and the doctor, the blood pressure was very high. It was 109 to 190, and it is the highest is that one that should come lower. But today, I don't know why, but the blood pressure, the low, was very high also. I never, I normally is it that I have a high blood pressure. It's about between 80 and 90, and now it was 109, and I was very dizzy when I was to the doctor. Once I was close to fall on her when she sit and working on her computer. I almost fall over her because I was so dizzy. So I have. The doctor wanted me to do the blood sugar. Wanted to know the diabetes, how much, and I was angry at they don't understand that it's not about the food I eat. So those 3 days did I only drink, and I drink those drinks that you do when you should not eat, and need to drink to get the nourishments, vitamins and minerals. You need to have it anyway. So I only drink that. I didn't show any food. So the pancreas should not need to work so much, as it was something I was drinking for 3 days. And so I write it up. The doctor say I had to measure my sugar, blood sugar, before I eat something, and before that, and I did that, and it was still high, the blood sugar, without have eaten, not eating any sweet, and so I was not to my real doctor, but I was to the diabetes nurse, and she was angry. And I think they think I lie about what I eat. But for me, I wanted to only drink no sugar things, to see what it costs to the blood sugar. But my blood sugar was around 15 in the daytime. In the morning, the insulin was doing great, and it was about 9 in the morning. And the nurse, diabetes nurse, she said today that the blood sugar the insulin should work the whole day, and not it should not go away, so it increased to be around 15. It should stay there at 9 as it was in the mornings, but it didn't. So that was something very wrong when I didn't eat. But they maybe think I lie about it, so they don't do it and anything to help me. And that was why I was one thing I was in Jerusalem for. It was first that I do that what heaven wanted me to do. But then was it also when I was in Jerusalem to try to get help from the hospital to get a new pancreas in my body, but they didn't want to help me in Israel. I need to try to help myself, and I hope this man that I have hired now to help me, that he will do it, because he is just now in Denmark because his daughter have got a baby, and but he's coming back in 2 weeks, and I hope he still want to help me. And I told him that I need to walk outside, and it's start to be nice weather, so it can be very nice to walk with him as far I can go. And I'm going to, as soon as I can drive around with my scooter, I'm going to check out where we can sit so I can rest a little when we're walking, so I can walk a little longer if I can rest the brain in a sofa. So I'm going to check out where there is sofas to sit at, so we can do this with walking. The diabetes nurse say that I should go at least 50 minutes on my own, and I say I'm too frightened to do that. I need to have someone with me. What should I do if I fall and be tired or in the brain and fall down on the ground? What should I do? I can't come up because I have this damage in my knees. And it was like God heard me, because suddenly this man come that is a little younger than me, so he's strong, he's slim, but he have the fitness to could help me with my body so he can walk at least 3 days in a week for 1 hour like that, and see what he's going. And then I asked him if he could give my legs massage, because he have been working with as a nurse, but mostly for those that mental illness, and I don't remember what he say more, but those that is not like normal in their way, but still he want to help. So I say to him, it's not dangerous things. It's only up to my knees, so it's not going on, because I saw his eyes be a little scared, and I say it's not so it's not bad for you, because it's only up to the knees, I say I need. and I can have pants on that he don't see anything. So he said that he could do it. And then I don't need to go and pay much money for in the clinic I have done to pay, because it will be less money if he working with my legs. So most everything is about my legs. And then as my brain is be going confused sometimes, then I need to clean up in my home so it is not disturbing things. I need to have it very clean from boxes, furniture and these things, so the brain doesn't need to be confused what it is where in my apartment. Those things he need to help me with. I know what to help me with, but I need to have help from someone that can carry out all these boxes, because I moved in to this apartment just when the COVID-19 came, and I didn't want to go out and meet people in that time when we didn't know where it was going, well, everyone was sick. So I didn't want to meet people. I could drive out from my home and drive in the forest, but I couldn't be and take out my belongings in the store unit, because I meet people very close to me the whole time. So that's why I need now someone that help me. And this man opened up the store unit, and he was shocked over what mess it was. Those people that helped me just before COVID-19, they only place in boxes in my store unit without to sort it, organize it. They only threw it in. And this is the first thing he need to do when he's coming back from Denmark, is to clean up my store unit, and then he can place in those boxes I have in my apartment, so I don't my brain doesn't need to wondering the whole time what is it I see, and be tired of it. So I start to be sleepy now, and I'm going to see if someone have given me any support money in my bank account, because I need to have this money to pay this man that is coming. It's be a lot. I don't know what in US dollar is it. It's for 1 hour he helped me. Is it? I think it's $50, and 3 times in a week. So it be a little money for me that don't have so much money. I trust God to help me, and he did that. That I find this man that wanted to help, and I hope he said to me that no one he had been in this business 1 year, and no one have asked him to help them. So he was happy that I wanted him to help me. So I hope he will help me. But I know this, that many, many, many times I thought I get help, and then suddenly I don't get help. Suddenly it changed the whole thing. So I have said this to heaven to keep him, to be my helper now, because I have touched the Golden Gate and ended the 4th season in Israel. So it should be my time now to go to heal myself in the way that I can do. There is no help of the doctor, and there is no help of medicine. I need to do it in nature's way to heal itself. That I need to do. So thank you for listening, and God bless you. I love you, and God loves you more. Thank you for listening.